You know, you get out here and you see the trees, you see the stars, and it's really cool.
And there's this pride, this look of amazement in their eyes when they've accomplished something that they didn't think was possible.
The wow factor, wow, I never knew I could do this. I never knew I could actually have this impact.
We really are excited to have students to unplug and give them an opportunity to be kids outside in nature, exploring, poking things.
In the classroom, you're just sitting at your desk learning about it. Out here, you actually get to go and do it.
Production of Immense Possibilities is made possible by the generous support of the Earth and Humanity Foundation, Wendy Selden, Rogue Co-ops, a community-centered collaboration among the Ashland Food Co-op, the Grange Co-op, Rogue Credit Union, and the Medford Food Co-op, Cliff Bar and Company, Elizabeth York, and these additional members of the Immense Possibilities Community Builders Circle. And this evening's program is underwritten by a special grant from the Harry and Yvonne Leonard Charitable Foundation.
Welcome to our weekly visit with people who are creating immense possibilities for healthy communities, solutions to all kinds of challenges. One trend that's become a full-fledged movement since we first started covering it is environmental education. People from all kinds of institutions and disciplines have come to see it as one of the surest and straightest routes to healthy communities, healthy kids, and a planet where our children and their children can thrive. We dedicate this week's program to those who are nourishing environmental literacy.
In this technologically enabled world where everyone has these devices and we're constantly looking down, the national parks offer the best places to have people pick their heads up, look around, smell the air, engage with others that they wouldn't normally engage with, and in many ways return to their senses.
NatureBridge students go to sleep in national parks and they wake up and they see Half Dome, or they see the Pacific Ocean, or they see the dew dropping off the edge of the leaves, and they experience the wonder and science that national parks have, and that transforms them.
In the classroom, you're just sitting at your desk learning about it. Out here, you actually get to go and do it.
And there you have it. We want to introduce you to the organization that's helped that youngster do it, as it has thousands of boys and girls in over 40 years of operation. It's called NatureBridge, and we're pleased to have with us its Southern California Education Director, Meg Jakubowski. Meg, welcome to Immense Possibilities.
Thanks, Jeff. It's great to be here.
How would you describe the atmosphere and challenge that NatureBridge was created to address?
Currently in the United States, U.S. students and children and teens spend about 7 minutes outside every day on average. In a NatureBridge program, they spend up to 8 hours, sometimes even more than that if they're on one of our camping or backpacking programs. And so that represents somewhere around 65 days worth of daily outdoor experiences in one day that we can provide for students. And so it's really important to us that we're able to get students outdoors to make that connection with nature, and that's step one. So we offer a wide variety of different types of environmental science education programming in our national parks, from single-day programs to 3 to 5 day overnight type programs, immersive programs, to being out on a boat in the Channel Islands, to backpacking in Yosemite. So we try to come up with a lot of different ways to be able to engage our students in the most high-quality experiences possible.
You have developed a unique partnership with the National Park Service. First, let's take a quick look at the 6 magnificent places where you do your work.
Awesome.
Tell us about the mutual benefits of this relationship with the Park Service. What does NatureBridge get? What does the Park Service get?
We really feel like it is a quality 50-50 partnership. What NatureBridge is able to do with our multi-day immersive residential programs is to take the National Park Service's mission of getting people to be outside exploring the national parks and our national gems, and we're able to extend that into a deeper connection. And what we see, in fact, is somewhere around day 2 of a program, you kind of see a click with these students where that connection really becomes reality. One of the things that we're trying to do in NatureBridge is to change environmental education from a nice to have to a must have. And so we're really trying to help all educators out there, teachers, administrators, to understand that it's a vital part of a student's matriculation to have these types of outdoor experiences.
And what's the age range of the youngsters you work with?
So generally for our immersive programs, we have 4th through 12th grade students. Those are the ones that can typically sleep overnight without being really nervous to be away from mom and dad or auntie and uncle. And as I mentioned before, we do have some single-day programs that we try to provide a touch point for those students to be able to start that connection with the outdoors at an early age.
Do you develop leadership skills among the teenagers in your program?
Absolutely. We provide leadership skills that are focused on communication, that are focused on self-esteem, personal growth, because ultimately we want them to be able to act on their experiences and be those responsible stewards. And if you don't provide students with those skills to be able to act on their passions and act on the things that they've learned about, then we're not going to have the intended impact that we're looking for.
And all of that adolescent juice is going to go elsewhere, find other outlets too.
Yes, definitely possible.
Do you keep track of some of these kids after they've left your program? And if so, what are some of them doing?
We have a lot of educators actually that come back and work for us and want to take the amazing experience that they had and be able to share that with today's youth. So that's one way that we're seeing a lot of individuals come back. Even many of our regional campus directors went through our programs when they were young, and what we're seeing is they have these experiences in these different places, and then they're bringing that action back to their local communities, and that is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That gives you a lot of leverage.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? I mean, that's the goal, is to get them to act in their local communities, not just in the national parks.
Is there magic and amazement for just about every child who experiences this program?
I would be surprised to find one that hasn't had some type of experience that's transformative on our program. And it might not be this amazing connection with science, which is a huge part of our programming. But what they might have is a moment where they have hiked to a peak and they didn't think that they could do that. And the whole time they're, I can't do this, I can't do this. And there's this pride, this look of amazement in their eyes when they've accomplished something that they didn't think was possible. So that's a personal achievement, and the idea is that hopefully they're taking some of that self-esteem that they've gotten by themselves on our program and taking it back to their home life, right?
You get the dirt under your fingernails. It's literally hands-on.
I think it's important for kids to come out to places like Yosemite because it gives them a different perspective of the world. You get out here and you see the trees, you see the stars, and it's really cool.
We spend a lot of time looking at TVs and different screens, and being able to go to a place in nature where you're going and checking out the environment with a lot of different students your age, it was a really amazing experience.
What about connection between kids on these experiences? Is that something that's new for some kids?
It's a different type of environment for these kids, not only in how they're learning in the outdoors, right, through our academics, but also just the social interaction. And we provide sort of these guided experiences for students to be able to talk safely with other students in their class and not feel like they'll be called out or that they'll have a wrong answer or that someone will make fun of them for saying something. And
somehow a lot of that drops away, huh?
It's incredible. It really is amazing. And what we hear as well, anecdotally from our teachers, is that when the students come back to school, that effect stays. It doesn't drift away. The experience that they've had all together binds them together as a team, and they're able to talk more effectively with one another in their school classroom and have a better awareness of who they are and how they impact their fellow students.
Do you remember any comments from students as they're leaving the program? What do you hear?
You know, we hear everything ranging from, you know, how good the food was to how incredible it was to sleep outside overnight and hear a coyote yipping in the distance, or the fact that they were away from their cell phones for 3 days and they hardly even noticed.
Electronics free for 3 days and they survive.
Yep, they survive. Yep, they do it.
That is a miracle.
Yes, and that's part, we really are excited to have students to unplug and give them an opportunity to be kids outside in nature, exploring, poking things, building forts, whatever it happens to be. Those are key experiences that I think you and I potentially had when we were kids, that we want to make sure that the plugged-in generation that's out there right now has an opportunity to do as well.
Tell us about what you call your core educational framework.
What that is it's a way for us to move students through a program, especially students who maybe have never been out into a national park before, where we focus on 3 main themes, one of which is sense of place, right? Getting the students comfortable where they are. Interconnections, taking the love and connection that they've developed on that first day and starting to figure out how they're going to transfer that back to their home community. And then thirdly, stewardship, right? And I've talked about how action and stewardship is a really central component for us. And so it's making sure that they have an opportunity to do something then and there that is stewardship oriented, whether it's science, like data collection, science as stewardship, or it's a snowpack survey or whatever it happens to be. And those 3 components are really, really central to our program.
And you're accessible to families with very, very little financial resource, yes?
True, yeah.
That's part of the reason you raise money.
And NatureBridge is really very proud of our fundraising efforts, and I'm extremely grateful to our current and hopefully future donor base that provides scholarships and funds to be able to get as many students as possible out. So, you know, we have almost $1 million a year that we're able to use to support students in our programs.
And I wonder if you've heard any objection to government participation in this program, maybe a critique that this biases children against extractive use of our resources, logging, mining, different kinds of drilling. Has that ever come up?
When a student comes out on our program, we're not telling them what to think. We're not telling them what to buy or how to vote. What we're doing is we're providing them with opportunities to develop critical thinking skills and leadership skills so that when it comes time for them to make those types of decisions, that they're empowered to be able to make those decisions on their own without someone spoon-feeding them the answer. I think the immense possibility of NatureBridge is getting students in the outdoors, connecting with nature so that they can be responsible environmental stewards of the natural world now and in the future. And I think it's a very real future where we do have every student going out into their local park, into their local national park, and being able to have that connection. So I think it's a real possibility.
Meg Jakubowski is an educational director with NatureBridge. Meg, thanks for the work you're doing. Thanks for coming to tell us about it.
Thanks, Jeff. It's been a lot of fun.
The national parks are great outdoor classrooms. They're the best outdoor classrooms. But we often hear, as kids return to their own communities and to their own classrooms, that they bring a new sense of understanding about themselves, about their environment. They will go back to their places and take action and become better citizens for it.
At Friends of Trees, we empower people to do something in their neighborhoods, to provide some change in a very simple way, very simple act of planting a tree. Friends of Trees brings people together in the Northwest to plant and care for trees and restore natural areas.
And here to refocus us from the vastness of the national parks to the familiar green spaces of our own towns and neighborhoods is Scott Fogarty, Executive Director of Friends of Trees, based in Portland and Vancouver, Washington, and Eugene. Scott, welcome to Immense Possibilities.
Thank you very much.
Why was Friends of Trees founded?
Well, Friends of Trees was founded about 25 years ago by a man named Richard Seidman. He began investigating with Portland's Urban Forestry Department and the Parks Department as to how he could plant more trees in his neighborhood. So it began very organically in one neighborhood, and 25 years later, we're not only in Portland, but in Vancouver, Washington, and Eugene as well, and all throughout the Willamette Valley.
Give us an idea of the scope.
We plant between 1,700 and 3,500 trees a year, depending on our contracts that we have with governing bodies. And over that time, we've planted more than 500,000 trees in at least 100 neighborhoods in all of the municipalities that we work in. We do work in 8 counties, and in both states, total 8 counties, and about 17 various cities.
Is planting a tree a powerful first step into environmental action for some people?
We've seen that people who come out to plant with us, 70% have never volunteered in their neighborhoods before, and a full 30% of those people have said that they would either do so again, planting trees, or doing something in environmental restoration or education or health. So it does open a door, and an easy door, quite frankly. We make our events very turnkey. They're safe, they're fun, they're meaningful, and it gives people an idea of why it's important to keep these urban spaces green and growing. And it's not just for us, but it's for future generations as well.
Can you remember any comments you've heard from some people who planted a tree for the first time in your program?
Yes, we do. Folks who come out for the very first time to plant trees, often in the morning here in Oregon, it's nice and wet and cold and muddy. And, you know, it takes a little bit of effort to get people going in the morning. They get out with other friends and neighbors, often people that they've never met before. And they get muddy and dirty. And you know what? They have fun. And that's the key. And we've heard people say, in fact, one of our taglines is, "Hey, I planted that." Because what happens is people in those neighborhoods then year after year can see the exact tree that they helped plant in front of their neighbor's yard, and they become vested and invested in watching that tree grow and survive and be healthy and provide all of the benefits to their greater community.
So are there really good opportunities for people of very different ages to work together?
It reminds us of the old Chinese proverb that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is right now.
Scott, on the face of it, planting a tree looks pretty straightforward. You take some dirt out of the ground and you stick in a tree and you put the dirt back, and there you go. What would you like people to know before they pick up a shovel for the first time?
There are several resources that an individual can go to learn the proper techniques, because essentially it's finding good soil, it's digging it up, it's making sure that the roots are pointed downward. You're putting the tree in at a right angle. The hole is deep enough, not too deep. You're putting water in it. You're refilling it with dirt that's loose and not too compact. The most important thing in my mind is the time of year when you're planting. In our climate here in Oregon, we don't like to plant in the summer. It requires a lot more energy for the tree to be transplanted into the ground, a lot more water. Often those trees can get too hot. So our planting season is typically from September to the end of May, when trees are dormant.
What is the main thing that gets you passionate about this work?
Good question. I think it's the smile on people's faces and the stories I hear about people meeting each other and getting to know one another, and just the wow factor of, wow, I never knew I could do this. I never knew I could actually have this impact. By planting a tree, they can feel good about what they're doing for their community. They can become more invested in their communities and leave a real lasting legacy of something for their children and their children to enjoy. And then looking at that collective impact and actually moving the dial on policy towards having cities and municipalities invest in groups like Friends of Trees, invest in their communities, especially the neediest communities, the communities of color, the low-income communities, the outlying communities. I personally like to go back and see the trees I've planted. They're getting bigger. They look great. They're shading out the streets. They're collecting stormwater. They are beautifying our neighborhoods and making safe, walkable streets for us. So for me personally, those are the great benefits that I see.
Scott, what do you think the immense possibility is of Friends of Trees?
I would like to see 1 billion trees planted in the Northwest over the next 10 to 20 years. I would like to see this, our organization be able to export our model to other cities around the country. It's not just here local. And if ever there was a think globally, act locally thing that people can do, it's to plant a tree in their neighborhood or to go out in a natural area and plant trees along river and stream banks to restore those areas.
Scott Fogarty is the Executive Director of Friends of Trees. Thanks for the work you're doing, Scott. Thanks for letting us know about it on Immense Possibilities.
You're welcome, and thank you for taking the time to realize the important things that we're doing in the communities.
The Neighborhood Trees program has always been, for me, an honest effort done by individuals within a community who know that they're going to see that tree cared for, prosper, grow, just like the community they want.
The fire and what little I've learned from Native American cultures, they would have a lot of fire and sit around it because then no one is closer or farther from what is a source of heat, light, and that the element of that circle breeds and encourages equality and communal respect. So no one bigger, better, less than any other. I really love that we can gather in this way and that we can do it in such a beautiful way, in such a beautiful love, and in such a beautiful piece of nature that's been offered here.
So much goodness found even when we're apart. And then I'm free in your arms again. Like moments and out of me. as you. Feeling, touching, praying, praising, holding, massaging, touching, gazing.
And that is it for this edition of Immense Possibilities. You can find more information or send us suggestions at immensepossibilities.org or visit our Facebook page and like and share us there. Thank you for watching. I'm Jeff Golden. Until next time, please do what you can do. Thanks for watching to learn about tonight's Immense Possibility. You can watch any of our past programs anytime at immensepossibilities.org.